Hello and welcome back to the Ransons home. I am going to give these old chairs that I found on OfferUp for only $20 a makeover and make them look like something that I would purchase in the store for $100 a chair. I started off by sanding these with a 120 grit sandpaper on an orbital sander. I didn't get this to raw wood because I wasn't staining them. If I was going to stain these, I would have to strip them because there was some sort of like varnish or like top sealer coat, like a shiny coat. So I didn't have to do too much work on these to get them prepped for paint. I just did a light sand just to make sure I could get the gloss off. My sander got clogged and I didn't have time to actually sit there and figure out what was going on because I was doing this while my baby was napping. So I went ahead and just sanded the rest with a sanding block and sandpaper. When I finished sanding, I did just blow off all of the sanding dust with my blower since I was doing this outside. And then I did take just some multi-purpose spray and a paper towel to clean them up. Before I started priming, I did go in with a tack cloth and just give the chairs a really good wipe down with one of those. And then I am using a spray primer because I thought it would be a lot easier for all these little detail spindles and nooks and crannies. And it definitely was. However, I don't think it would be the most cost effective if you were doing more than 4 chairs. I went through 1 can for 2. So I ended up using 2 full cans and half a can just on some areas that needed a little more coverage. I am using the Zinsser cover stain because I didn't want any tannings to show through. And if you were doing a white paint, definitely use a oil-based primer to make sure you don't have any tannings come back through. I was actually going to spray these with leftover cabinet paint that I have on our island. So major sneak peek of some projects that we did that I haven't posted videos for yet, but I do have blog posts and they are on our Instagram page too. But getting back to the chairs, I was going to spray them with the leftover paint, but unfortunately my sprayer wasn't working, so I had to go to plan B, which was chalk paint. Now with chalk paint, from what I have read and watched, you don't have to sand or prime in order to use it in most cases. Because these had a gloss on them, I definitely think you should still sand it. But the primer isn't necessarily needed, but I think it helps. So I definitely like using primer under any paint. This was my first time using chalk paint for furniture, so I was a little intimidated for the first 2 chairs because when it's drying, it dries very matte, so you can see brush strokes and you can see where you haven't put paint, and then you can see it almost looks like there's going to be major flashing if you go over another area. But once it dries so perfect, and there's minimal brush strokes. Of course, if you didn't get a spot covered enough, you're gonna see the underneath, but it dries very matte and like velvety. It's really neat to work with, and I highly recommend it for furniture and a beginning project like this for me. I like being transparent with the cost of projects that I do. So let's do a quick rundown of costs for this. The chairs cost me $20. I found them on OfferUp. You can even find chairs like this for free. So just hunt around because they're out there. The supplies cost me $80, but I ended up not using everything. So it brought my total down to a little under $60, which I think is amazing. So $80 total for these chairs, which I've looked in stores and they start around $100 for one chair. So you can find them if you don't want to do this project, but you are going to pay a pretty penny for it. I did use a round detail brush for this because it made it so much easier to get the spindles and like little crevices. I tried using just a flat brush and it just wasn't working very well. When you are doing a project like this, make sure you are reading the instructions for the product you're using. So the paint or stain or polyurethane, whatever it is, they require a different type of bristle on the brush that you will be using. So for chalk paint, they want a nylon polyester blend brush. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to that and not just grabbing whatever brush you might have on hand. I ended up doing 2 coats of paint on all the chairs. After the first coat dried, it looked really good, but it looked a little more distressed than what I was going for because you could see some of the areas that just didn't get enough paint, so it was kind of brushstrokey. So this is 2 coats of paint here, and I love the way it turned out. The coverage was amazing, but I did go in with a matte polyurethane from Behr and did 1 full coat and then a second coat on the seat and the legs because I know those areas are going to get the most use and I just wanted it to be extra protected. If you haven't worked with polyurethane before, when you first start, you might freak out just a little bit. I know I did. I really thought I ruined the chair at first. It goes on milky, which sounds so weird, but it does. And it's thick and like goopy, and it just doesn't look good. I freaked out. I had to let one completely dry. And I thought for sure I was going to have to like put the chair online for like free because it was going to be a nightmare to try to fix. But it actually turned out so good and I can't wait for you guys to see the final result. So make sure you watch till the end to see that. But this is what it looks like as you're applying it. And it's bad. Like it does not look good. but I promise you, just let it do its job and you will love the final result. I have everything I used for this project and detailed instructions written in a blog post with the link in the description box for you, as well as my Amazon store link, which you can find all the products that I use for products and things in my home, even things for like my kids. This was my first time doing any type of furniture flip, and I'm very happy it turned out so well. I want to know if you have done a project like this and how it turned out for you. I am really interested in doing more of these, so let me know any tips or things that I could do differently next time. I also wanted to show you what it looked like when the polyurethane was applied and as it dried versus what it looks like when it completely dried. And here is what they look like before. As a quick reminder, they were like a cherry red finish, and then the after. I love the way that these look in my dining space. And we also got these leather wingback chairs. I just love the vibe in here now. It's just so much more modern. The upkeep is going to be drastically less than our previous chairs, which were like a beige upholstery. I just want to thank you again for watching, and I can't wait to show you another project soon. Bye.